is smart for us.
It seems like it. We don't have to hurry, I don't think.
We really don't. Things have been working pretty darn well. So that just I think affirmed our kind of view on this.
Yeah.
So
did you guys have a nice weekend?
we did. What did we do? We watched a little basketball, of course.
Watch the upset.
Oh, all kinds of upsets, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
you guys are having trouble connecting at first. I don't know. It was pretty strange. Andrew, you were on all by yourself. Nothing happened. Then got kicked off. Then a couple of minutes later, you came on, and then Jonathan came on, but couldn't connect with audio or visual. Now it just kind of reset, and we got a few more people on board.
Andy was going to have to be all by himself making decisions today.
right.
He would have been very lonely.
That's exactly what I was saying to John Kane. Yeah. John says he has it set up that if John's not available, that I can host. So John's the primary host, but I guess that's why it looked a little different this time around.
So I wonder if there's other people trying to get on. We got a few more people.
They're coming in as we go here.
Okay.
How's it going?
Good morning, afternoon. It's afternoon, but I'm still drinking coffee, so
What time is it over there?
it's 10. It's 4-hour difference now. You guys go to daylight savings. We don't do daylight savings, so it goes from 3 to 4 hour difference. 4 hours is a challenge.
Wasn't Hawaii just in the news? Chip, I'm trying to think what it was. I was just reading. Hope it was.
We've been
something
having some floods on island. There's
Maybe
been
that was it.
some on the east side of the island. There's been some heavy duty flooding. Some breaking clouds that in a small area can dump a whole lot of water in a very short period of time. So there are some challenges with that. And actually our COVID numbers are going up considerably. We've been very low, but our numbers have been going up, and a lot of that's probably due to the variants. And then we got a lot of visitors on island, and so many of them are not wearing their masks. It's very frustrating.
Sorry to hear. Yeah, I feel like I've talked to a lot of people that I've recently have talked to are all going to Hawaii. So I can, I guess, see why the numbers are going up. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, the island is almost as busy as it was before COVID. It's kind of a couple of the hotels are 100% occupancy, and yeah, it's getting busy. And the thing is, everybody's walking around without their masks on. All the visitors. It's very frustrating.
Doesn't work well with your tan.
No.
I thought all the visitors were coming to Colorado, but I can understand why they'd go to Hawaii.
I think we got a lot coming to Colorado too, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Chip,
the weekend was any judge of what we have to expect. It's going to be busy.
you probably heard it said on this call, I believe, but we've had the same challenge here with people from out of state, particularly states that have loosened restrictions more than we have.
Yeah.
And it's hard on the business owners because, they say, well, I don't have to do that back home. Well, you're not home, trying to be hospitable, but enforce the rules. And it's a tough balance.
And that's one of the reasons why it's so crucial that there is that mandate, because as an individual business owner or the business employees, whatever, when it's mandated by the government, makes it a lot easier for them to say, yeah, you got to do it. It's not just the company policy. So, I hope they don't take those mandates off anytime soon.
Well, that's one thing we have to consider here locally, how we want to handle that, because, if there are restrictions or loosen more at the state level, do we want to go that way? Do we want to do something a little more restrictive here? What would make the most sense for us?
Well, if they loosen up restrictions, but just keep the mask thing mandate there. I mean, that doesn't take much. You can still
Right.
do that and loosen up some other restrictions if they feel like it's warranted, but keep
Yep.
the masks on for a while, at least.
It was a lot harder before the masks were mandated. It makes it so much easier to tell people you have to wear a mask when it's not just coming from you.
Yep. And then they can call the mayor and complain to the mayor or the governor. And they're not gonna do that, so.
Thanks, Chip.
Well, I saw you sitting there. I figured we probably need to,
Yeah, I'm trying to clean up my desk here. But I know when I do, then I won't know where anything is.
I understand that.
I see everybody smiling. They know what I'm talking about.
There's organization in those piles.
That's right.
That's why I always have some kind of a picture behind me, because you guys don't want to see my office. I don't usually allow human beings into my office.
My piles are trash or no trash. All right, well, let's get going. It's good to see everybody after the weekend. More snow last night into today. We don't have Dr. Ryan on with us, do we? We'll see if he pops on. We haven't heard from Alyssa or Dr. Ryan, so I don't know, George, if you know Dr. Ryan somewhere and can't join us. We always like to hear the update of what's going on through CDPHE and what guidelines we are having to follow. While we're waiting on them, we'll go ahead and kind of do what was up this weekend, what you saw that worked, that didn't work. I'll tell you a couple of things that I saw that, we tried our best, but with snow piles everywhere, it was just really hard to make our parking lots where I'd like for them to be. So with that, Steve, I'm going to open it up for you first.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday were really good for business. Lots of customers, lots of people through town. Obviously, parking was a big problem. Lots of complaints, people circling the blocks, trying to find a place to park. I had a meeting on Friday with some people. And they almost called at one point to bail because they drove around the block so many times trying to find a place. And I know the Mustang lot probably had opening spots, but people just don't think about going to that side of the 103. But Sunday then dropped off. I think what happened is, the news was pumping up the storm coming in and going to be a big thing in the afternoon. So when I came to work in the morning, there was a ton of traffic coming down the hill already. So I think people might have came down early or something. And but our numbers on Sunday were kind of soft. That's it.
All right, thanks, Steve. I know that Randy usually likes to chime in, but he won't be with us today. Sadie.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. I think the news pumped up the storm so much. Sunday was a really quiet day in comparison, but Friday and Saturday both were really packed in town. We had a lot of visitors. I really think that everybody is just respecting each individual town's guidelines, because we had tons of tourists and they were just all very inquisitive. What are the rules here? What can we do here? So it was just really nice to have respectful visitors, but it's definitely tourist spring break time. So.
All right, thanks, Sadie. Marcel.
Same here. Saturday we did the most we've done since like the October of 2019. Like, it was bananas. Sunday was all right. Definitely toned down because of the weather, but looking forward to a relatively busy shoulder season compared to last year because we were closed, but also just because I think everyone's going to be getting vaccinated and ready to party. So, yeah, I mean, parking definitely was, a lot of people circle. A lot of people send their first people in, and then everybody circles the block. And, I'm doing my best to provide that hospitality on a face-to-face, tell people, by the way, you can park over on Soda Creek Road. There's lots of things that of course, when it's snowing, people don't want to walk that far. But when the weather gets nicer, I think we're gonna, see people parking everywhere. But good weekend, really good weekend.
Thanks, Marcel. Linda?
Oh, I would repeat what Sadie, Marcel, Steve, everybody's saying. I think comparing the numbers to 2019, because obviously we're closed last year, and Sunday was low and Saturday and Friday were amazing. Just gives us an idea of what we might be looking forward to this summer, and just, needing to be prepared to move people through. We're still sticking with an extremely no contact type of system in our store. And I think we're going to do that for a long time. My employees are behind a big sheet of plastic, and it's like self-service checkout. They're always like, why are you even here, to the employees? But they don't pass anything back and forth. There's no touching whatsoever. So, we're, even with the crowds, that seems to be working. In fact, like Sadie said, people were pretty friendly and patient. Our system went down Friday, and we were doing manual transactions, and everyone was nice and respectful and wearing their masks. So far, so good with the people coming through.
It's all those nice Texans that are coming through. Nobody. Let's see. We got TJ, a little update on business this weekend.
Ditto. From what everyone else was saying, Sunday we had a really nice brunch, but tailed off as the snow came in. I've been seeing some more regulars come out of the woodwork. A lot of people have been telling me, the first time they've been out to eat in months, or and they're happy to be vaccinated. So I think as that trend continues, I think we're just people are itching to have a life again.
All right, thanks, TJ. So let's quickly talk about the parking situation. So, we got CDOT out of there, and our public works plowed and stacked. And when I went over there, I believe it was Friday, we saw a big problem because where they piled the snow, you could not access the north side or the south side behind Bojo's. You could only, so we lost like 35 parking places through Friday. Of course, I called Friday evening, Public Works, get out here, let's move some of this snow. We moved a lot of it, but we couldn't down on, 14th. We couldn't get through there because there was cars. We needed to make a path and move some of that snow, but there were cars there and we couldn't do it. So
Yeah, that's 15th by the clinic there.
no, I'm talking about at 14th.
Oh, 14th?
Yeah, where we were talking about making it so you could drive through. See what I'm saying? So
Okay.
what you had to do is you could come in the parking lot, go down, but you couldn't get out down by Bordoni's house, down by, or is that 15th, 13th, 14th? 14th. Yeah, it is 14th that I'm talking about. Couldn't get through the barricade. Yeah. Oh, no, you're right, Andy. Clinic. No. Was it the clinic, Andy?
The clinic's at 15th.
Okay. Anyway, you couldn't make a circle. So you had to pull in. And when you tried to get out of there, you had to go back out the other way. There wasn't a full circle. And what was happening, then all of a sudden you got two cars going in there once we got it opened up, and then no parking places, and they were both trying to back out. So it was tough. The other thing where we did move the snow, I personally out there moved cones and barrels into two parking places so nobody would park there. Driving through on Sunday, all of a sudden, somebody moved those barrels and parked there. And there was barely a width of a car to get through to that parking. And I think a lot of people weren't even trying it because it was so narrow. So I don't know if it was employees or visitors, but they moved those barrels and caused another problem. Again, here we got more snow. We're going to work with Public Works and try to get those paths open over the next couple of days so we can have that full circle in there and make it easier to park. Of course, the other thing is it was all mud. We knew that was going to happen when we told them to get out of there, and they just put some road base down. And we knew that when the snow started melting off, we were going to have a mud pile back there, and that's kind of what we've got now. Danny, do you have any update on Interstate and what it looked like?
Yeah, I mean, really, really busy Friday, Saturday. Even Sunday, you had a lot of people, in the city, during that lunch rush hour, and then it trickled off, once the snow really started to hit. But Friday, Saturday, very, very busy. Our ambassadors tried to catch, the cars circling. It's just, they don't necessarily want to walk the extra blocks from Bustang to the main city lots. Unfortunately, we do, let them know about Colorado and 16th as well. They can check for parking there. But yeah, very, very busy weekend overall. Probably one of the busiest since October.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any more thoughts about downtown parking and things like that? Marcel, I have gotten in your email and your text. I haven't ignored you. We'll get together. Just been kind of crazy for me as well. If you don't know, and you should know that our group of our downtown businesses have been working together to come up with a plan going into to the summer of some events and some things we can do to festivalize. Is that even a word? To make festive. So what's going to happen tonight is Sadie is going to come in and make a presentation to the city council. Oh, that's not tonight?
April 5th, Mayor.
April 5th.
First Monday in April.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm presenting to you guys today, and then April 5th is when I'm going to present to city council.
All right, thank you. And they're going to show the plan and some of the ideas, and then we'll take it to council and get some ideas from them and how we can make some of these things, if not all of them, move forward. I do have and did take a first payment to CNC Welding to start our barricades. What he's going to do is he's come up with some different things to do that he thinks will be easier and not look so Europeanish. So he's going to work with that. I'm leaving it up to him. I think he'll do a good job. What he's going to do is he's going to make one, and we will bring pictures of that to this group and ask how you like it, if this is going to work, which I think it will be fine. And then we'll get him to go and start making the other 11 or 12 that we're going to need. He's going to make it out of some pretty, I didn't want something that was real flimsy, that if somebody got mad and kicked it, that it was going to bend or something. Very heavy steel that he's using for it. So they're going to be very durable. And he said, yes, we'll have to have casters on this because they will be kind of heavy. Oh, excuse me. So that is rolling. Also with those prototypes, we can say, hey, is there a way we can add this or add that, including city logos or the downtown logo that Sadie and others have been putting together to brand our community and brand our downtown. So those are things that can be added on. I just wanted to make sure that these things were in production, that when we open the street or when we close the street permanent for the summer, that we have these in place, ready to go. Let's see, John, what else have we have on the agenda?
Sadie's presentation.
All right, let's do it. Sadie, you're up.
Okay. So John, can you let me share a screen? Cool. All right, everyone. So this is kind of just the proposal that we're going to go through a little bit. This is a big, broad overview to just not take up too much of everybody's time. The more detailed presentation will be to City Council, obviously. The major goal of the Minor Street Market proposal is to create a consistent branding, logo, marketing calendar, and a market calendar so that we can promote the activities that we can have on the market to a mass audience so that we can attract some visitors in a safe ability to have social distanced activities outside on the market. Using as many free advertising things as possible. We'd like the consistency of a theme for the market, being a classic minor town, similar looking barriers for all restaurants tied together with these classic minor lamps. Below, you guys can see kind of the presentation that we got from Ember, and everybody kind of really enjoys this option right here, this option 2. And what we're going to ask for City Council is some direction on measurements, consistency, and if the city wanted to consider buying the materials to make all the barriers in bulk. We could get a really good discount on the barrier materials if the city bought them in a bulk situation. And then each restaurant could kind of create their own theme based off of, there's a lot of variability. You could do different style flowers. You can have the ropes look a little bit different. So there's a little bit ability to make it unique and custom to each restaurant. I know this is a lot of text, so don't need to really read it all, but we're really excited that Clear Creek Tourism has offered to sponsor a Idaho Springs Minor Market booklet. This will have all of the businesses in Idaho Springs listed, and in the center of the booklet, it will have a district map of the downtown district of the market, and it will have some advertising space with coupons as well as some coloring pages for the kids. So it'll be a nice offering for the city to be able to partner with Clear Creek Tourism to offer this booklet, and it's like a small kind of booklet size. We would like to have the calendar ready to publish mid-April to be able to start pushing through some of those free advertising sources of the activities that we'll be able to have on the calendar. We'll have some basic marketing materials with the agreed upon logo and the market open date that we'll distribute to all businesses. That way that they can publish through their own social media and advertise through their own channels, the Minor Street Market. The next big thing is creating activated spaces that are not being used by the businesses. So last year we had a bunch of unactive spaces on the market because businesses chose not to activate the space in front of their businesses. We would like to be able to activate those spaces either by businesses on Minor activating an additional space, such as Tommy Knockers would like to activate the space across from them to have outdoor games, some cornhole, some ring toss, that kind of thing. The chamber would like to activate some spaces to help additional vendors, non-competitive vendors come to the market, as well as a produce vendor. Businesses could sponsor an activity in an area such as like hopscotch or a sidewalk chalk drawing area, bubbles for kids. There's lots of interest from businesses that aren't on Minor could sponsor an area that has an activity that's a socially distance friendly activity. And then areas that were not sponsored by a business could be sponsored in general by the market to create additional seating. The Argo has offered maybe some minor carts to display. John Kane and I have talked about maybe pulling out of city storage the old Gold Rush prison display where people could take some pictures, something to make it Instagrammable. People could start taking pictures and using hashtag Minor Street Market. It's a great way to continue that interactive activities. Okay, so activities and performances. So this is activating the market in a way that we feel is respectful of new guidelines and also would still be able to, even if we had to be more restrictive, all of these activities are keeping in mind our current place in our world. So a grand opening Memorial Day weekend, hopefully to work with the borough races coming through, maybe music in the park that Saturday to create some additional fanfare. The business owners on Minor have kind of been discussing the possibility of open carry and creating an entertainment district for the Minor Street Market. We know that that might be an uphill battle, so we thought maybe this year with the short notice that we have, instead of doing that, we could do a taste of Idaho Springs with open carry once a month on the third Saturday of every month starting June 19th. Each month, we would partner with a nonprofit locally so that they could carry the special events license. Each participating restaurant would make a small plate representing their restaurant, and then 10% of the sales of that small plate and outdoor drink service on Minor would go to benefit the nonprofit. The first suggested nonprofit would be the playground at Carlson. It's on Minor. It would be a great way for us to gather as a community and support the Carlson Playground project. A suggestion would be to have a Minor Street Market branded cup for all outdoor service so that we could make sure that the cups stay within the designated drinking area. There would be a cornhole league on the market on Mondays outside. We have been talking to Colorado Cornhole Connection, which is one of the largest cornhole activity businesses in the state of Colorado. They have generously offered to partner with us and let us use their software for scheduling, promoting, and management. And they also build custom cornhole boards. So if a restaurant doesn't have a set of boards and they would like to participate in the Cornhole League, the Colorado Cornhole makes custom logoed boards with a discounted price as well. For everybody that doesn't know the Red Tail Miner guy, he has his reindeer and his petting zoo, having him come down to the market to have a historical sponsored talks to create an attraction to educate our visitors about the beautiful history of our community, having homemade goods for sale in activated spaces by the chamber, having the local baker and other some of our amazing homemade good vendors in this community be able to offer a spot for them to vend. Clear Creek County is doing a steampunk theme this year and has suggested maybe we do a steampunk parade. They have a very large following and a community that would love to come in and do a parade through the market on a Saturday or a Sunday. With the Red Tail Miner guy scheduling the petting zoo one time a month, it would be pre-scheduled on the calendar so that we would know and have a family-friendly event for that. Having a burro parade if we don't do burro races, and a best dressed burro contest, partnering with Go Farm to have a weekly produce vendor coming up during the week to offer produce boxes as well as a la carte produce on the market available as well. Allowing open buskers. We had some great street musicians last year that were able to play throughout the day. I don't know if anybody saw the guy with the xylophone last year, but it's pretty awesome. That's a really great way to get essentially free entertainment and have these buskers come in and during the week and provide music for tips. And then allowing street artists, inviting the sketchy face caricature guy to come back and activate the space in the park to do that. He was here not last summer, but the summer before that, and he was a big hit. Saturdays in the park with the chamber, highlighting nonprofits, local vendors in music. The chamber is very interested in partnering in that way as well. And then the restaurants are willing to sponsor music on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we'll have that on the calendar as well. So on Tuesdays, Prime and Westbound sponsoring music on this end of Minor, and Tommy Knockers and Two Brothers sponsoring music on their end of the street on Thursdays. So we'll be able to put that on the calendar to advertise. So that is what we as a group have come up with as the overview. Questions?
All right. Sadie, thank you for that presentation. A lot of great ideas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I did hear you say that this booklet was going to be a citywide booklet and not just downtown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it would have all the businesses in Idaho Springs listed, and then the map in the center would be a little bit more Minor market focused, but all the businesses would be listed, and then it would give addresses, phone numbers, and general directions to all businesses in Idaho Springs. I mean, not all business, but like restaurants and
Yeah,
retail.
that's appreciated. You know, I haven't had any complaints. You know, nobody said anything. We've put a lot of effort into downtown for the last year and moving into this year as well. So I really appreciate that. Thinking of our East End businesses will be included in that little booklet. That's a great idea. I like it. You have a lot of good things going on. One thing that you know, the barriers. You know, Steve Interis and I have talked about this, and should we make it, or each business make it their own, or should we be all on the same page with the types of barriers like you showed, Sadie? Kind of, what's everybody's thought on that? Should we be all on the same page, or each business being unique about their own establishment? I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
This
I
is,
kind of like the continuity myself.
yeah, I was gonna say, I agree with Chip. I think the continuity is great. And sorry, I had to jump off for a second. So I'm not sure if you talked about cost and kind of how much. I know a lot of people invested quite a bit last summer in fencing and whatnot. Maybe if we don't require the continuity and purchasing the same thing, we do have some design guidelines that businesses have to adhere to. So we don't have kind of like the chain link fencing going up and things like that, but something, you know, that kind of fits in a set of guidelines that are developed.
All right, thanks for that, Lindsay. Any other thoughts, group?
I would prefer that approach. We put a pretty significant investment into our stuff last year. I think if it just goes through some sort of approval process, whether that's through this group that we're kind of forming with the Meyer Street Market. But we've already talked about, you know, putting the lanterns on and having some continuity that way. If we're still allowed to have some tables on the street, we would certainly use the suggested barriers, but I would prefer an approval process.
Sorry, TJ, you prefer what?
An approval process.
Just an approval process, kind of everybody being unique and getting checked off on, yeah, this looks okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Steve?
Yeah, in the Liquor Enforcement Division Code Regulation book, it says that under B2 of this regulation, it has to be approved by the local and state licensing authority. So I think last year the state gave it to the feds gave it to the states to figure out. So I think the city can set the ordinances on what these barriers look like.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Go
the
ahead.
thing that the majority of the group agreed on was that, you know, we would like some guidance and consistency. So even if the barriers aren't identical, that there should be a little bit more guidance on consistency, as well as making sure that it's safe and it's meeting the liquor regulations as well. Creating some kind of, that's why we kind of all thought creating something that ties us all together, the minor lamps or whatever it is. But again, creating more consistency, because there was a lot of confusion on that last year.
Okay. I like it. We can do that. Another thing about our liquor, I saw on the news that our state to go liquor is going to end on July 1st, but the state liquor board is getting together to work up new liquor laws, including ways that we can do open container a lot easier. I know that I want to say it was Breckenridge that I saw on TV. They are actually a couple of days a week calling it their red district. And they're allowing people to walk out of a restaurant and walk on the streets and visit other stores and have open container. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Maybe it'll be easier for us to do this. So as we get closer to the summer, it's not a bunch of more hoops that we're going to have to go through. Also, I know that coming up, we're going to have our renewal for our encroachment agreements. So I just need to let everybody know that if we had one last summer, that we need to get with Diane, make sure she has updated insurance information and area that you got plenty of time, that you're still wanting, that you're gonna close off and incorporate it into your business and your serving areas and things like that. Just want to make sure that everybody's on top of that, so we don't get down to the day that it's going to happen and somebody's upset because they haven't gotten theirs approved yet. Very easy approval. Just get it in with a diagram, and it could be just the same. Hey, Diane, same as last year, and all's good. We can do that. We want to make it as simple as possible. Alyssa and George said that Dr. Ryan wasn't going to be able to join us today, but they'd be more than happy to inform us of what they've been hearing through CDPHE and things that Dr. Ryan would be telling us. George, Alyssa?
Oh, I think Andy's raising his hand.
Just one comment, Sadie, on your plan. It's a change since when we last talked. John Bordoni contacted CDOT, and it looks like the barriers will need to be moved on their schedule that first week in May. So we'll have to move that up a week. I don't see that causing big problems. We'll still coordinate the closing of the street in a different way, but the concrete barriers will be moved. Probably we're shooting for that Thursday, that first Thursday in May. We'll have more information on that as we get a little closer. We have to be a little flexible because CDOT is doing this based on their schedule, on their time, and they have the low boy. They have the device that clamps on the barriers and moves them. So we'll have more information as we get closer, but I just want to give you a heads up on that.
And we also, I know there'll be a couple of businesses, maybe the Moose, you, Marcel, Steve, that y'all may want to keep those barriers and continue using them. We've gotten the okay from CDOT. If we need to keep some of them, the smoking yards want to do it, that we will be able to. Now, I'd love to go around and search out for the best looking ones, and I just don't know how we do that, so we will have those available, and CDOT already agreed to that if our businesses still wanted to continue to use some, that they would allow us to keep them and use them. Okay. What else? We're gonna hear from George and Alyssa.
Hi, everyone. Hope you had a nice weekend. I'm going to give you a quick update on vaccines. Last week, we vaccinated, I believe that it was 360. We had quite a few cancellations due to the weather. Not surprising. This week, we are scheduled to vaccinate 280 people. And we have put in an order for 3,000 Johnson & Johnson vaccines. You all have received an email from me to fill out that survey. If you haven't done so, please do so. The holdup on that, I've gotten an email from several of you. The holdup on that is waiting to find out how many vaccines we get from the state for Johnson & Johnson, and when we get them. So right now, that's really what we're waiting on. As soon as we get that information, we're hoping to get that today or tomorrow. I will send an email out to everyone that's responded and get a date scheduled. So that's what the holdup is. Haven't forgotten, hoping to get vaccines to the business community within the next week or two. If you have any specific questions about how that's going to work, please feel free to reach out to me. I believe that we are going to split it into 2 days. So if your employees can't come one day, they can come the next day. And the reason that we asked what your opening hours are to try to accommodate restaurants in their hours. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or text me if you want to get a hold of me. Thanks.
Okay, so yeah, Alyssa's closer to the vaccine thing than I am, so thank you, Alyssa. And what I have is just an overview of publicly available data. Clear Creek County, we did not have a great week last week. We actually have been in a situation for about a month where our 7-day case counts put us in blue and our 2-week case counts put us in yellow. It looks like that, and I suspect it's because sometimes it takes a while to identify a case. So by the time a week is a week old, some of those cases are detected and start to fill in. However, we've caught up. It's just slightly above the 100 per 100,000 threshold to get us into yellow. We're also in yellow on our average positivity. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. I did talk to Tim this morning. He said he's going to bring that to our attention. I mean, we are 2.7 per 100,000 cases. So we're literally one case into yellow. But our test positivity has been in yellow for a handful of weeks. And of course, we're coming into not coming into, it's March 22nd. We're in a pretty high risk period here where we've seen the highest level of travel since a year ago. And you guys probably all saw what's going on in Miami, and it's happening in Colorado too. So that's what's going on with case counts. I don't know if action will happen this weekend to move us into yellow, just so that everybody knows what yellow means. I'm aware of 3 businesses in the county who would have fewer people inside from moving from blue to yellow. Marcel, maybe you make number 4. But I just wanted to give you all a heads up about that. And then I want to just talk a little bit about the updated Dial 3.0. The first thing I looked at in the proposal, and it's still a proposal, is that the metrics stay the same. So it's the 100 cases per 100,000 is still that threshold to kick us into yellow. It was the first thing I looked at this morning. I did paste the updated mask mandate. We'll have to have a conversation in Clear Creek because, well, we want to be in blue. We should be in blue. And in blue, there is no mandate for, let's see here, areas where less than 10 people gather. I don't know that, and we're going to have to ask some questions about what that means. Like, is that when 10 people are in your business, or is that based on what your occupancy is? We'll be looking at that and trying to help everybody understand that as we understand it. And other, I'm sorry, I'm looking through my tabs here. What I will do is I will drop the link of the tables of the proposals in here, but for restaurants, which is where we see the most variability in these things, blue means 50% or 225 people. A change to the 5-star program is that in blue, in 5-star, restaurants can get to 60% capacity. So that might cause us to want to have that conversation, not again, but continue. Not sure what else is out there of highlights, but I'm happy to take questions to the extent of my ability to answer them. And I'm going to drop these links into the chat so you can see them.
All right, thanks for the update, George. Not as thorough as Dr. Ryan, but you did a great job.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate that.
And the list of both. So, all right. Dr. Boland, do you have anything that you'd like to express to our group? I mean, Dr. Boland, did I say Dr. Ryan? Dr. Boland?
Hello, sorry about that. No, I actually don't have anything to add to that. I always rely on Dr. Ryan to provide our update on the public health side. This is the last day that I am offering the local business and employees offer. So if you have any questions about that, please reach out to me. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So let's take this last 10 minutes or so just to kind of open it up. Jeff, we haven't heard from you. That's quite unusual. Let's just open it up for things to throw out there for us to share and chew on and collaborate on.
George was just talking about the 5-star program, just a little counsel on thinking about that. We'd gotten our other restaurants on the 5-star program. In some communities it was working good, some communities it was not working well at all. Depends on how they have it set up. I think it was in Arvada, they were having us, get every single individual, whether it was a child or whatever in the party. We had to list every single individual in the party on the contact list. And that was just onerous, did not work. In Fort Collins, they weren't requiring that. They only required us to have one contact per table, and that worked a whole lot better. So just that is a thought as far as if you look at doing the 5-star program.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Chip. Anybody else? Open table here. Lindsay, do you have any other updates from the CCDC for us? I think she said she may have had to jump on another call. So, Cassandra?
All right, I'm here. I just had to get on the right screen to unmute. Yeah, so no, not too many updates on my end. We still have loans available for emergency working capital up to $30,000. So if anyone is needing a round 2, if you did get that loan during round 1, you do qualify for round 2 as well. Those are low interest loans over a period up to 7 years, or actually, I think we were maxing them out at 5, excuse me. But again, very low interest. And then I also encourage all of you to look into the employee retention credit. We had a presentation on that. Was it last week, I believe, or the week before? So definitely talk to your CPA about getting those documents filed, revise your 941s if you haven't done so already. Great program to take advantage of. There's another program coming out that I'm looking into, so I will have some information hopefully next week for everyone on that. Otherwise, I guess that's all I got right now.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Cassandra, do you have anything to update us on?
Hi, good afternoon. Nothing to update right now, just working on different projects. We have our update with the commissioners tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Cass. All right, anybody else?
Yep. I compiled some of the traffic data we have for the last several years into just kind of a visualization dashboard that I'll share the link in the chat in case it's helpful for anyone. I think right now we're hitting about the 1 year ago point where everything shut down. So it could be helpful to see how we're trending versus 2020 or more like 2019 as we would hope. So available there. Let me know if you want any changes.
Thanks, Gabe. Yeah, we'd love for you to share that with us in the chat. I'm interested in it. Thank you for taking your time and putting that together for us. So there you go. Thank you very much. All right, anybody else?
Is it against, well, how do I phrase this? How likely would it be that we could turn that whole street of downtown into a walking mall for liquor license across the whole street? And that way there's no barriers other than don't leave the main street with booze.
The one thing, and Andy and I have talked about this, even open containers, when we still have that cross streets, all of our avenues, traffic's still running through. So we really have to figure out if we have those barriers up at the end of the blocks, how does that work crossing that street? So these are some things that we need to iron out and think about and talk to our local, to Diane, and to make sure that the state will allow that. We were just a little concerned about somebody wandering out into that and getting hit. They've had
for each block. I mean, if we're getting these nice signs made, it's like if you're on each block, you can kind of just float around that street. I don't know I don't want to take away from anybody's investments. I know a lot of people, I spent a lot of money on trying to get those barriers up, but just to make the streets feel more communal and not have all these things for people to trip over, it'd be really nice. Like Vale Village, you can walk around with a drink, I think it would create a really cool attraction to the town if that, it would be something that would be offered, not a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, and it was Vale that I saw on TV. Now that you mentioned it, it was Vale that's doing that. Sadie, you have something?
So John and I do have some information on what Fruta put in place for the entertainment district, which is what they're doing in Fruta. So Marcel, I can email that to you so that you can take a peek at that and see kind of what details. Steve and Asta have also seen it. And John, go ahead. You can speak more clearly to that.
The biggest issue that we found in the research phase is the entertainment district requires the formation of a board that's represented by each and every restaurant and major business on Minor Street. And we also have to go through some of there's a whole list of what you have to do to make it happen. And I just think by this summer, we may not be 100% where that could happen. I'm really good friends with the version of me in Fruta, and he sent me that resolution. And it basically creates a beer garden, kind of like we talked about before, but it works similar to an entertainment district. Sadie's idea for the special events, the benefit of doing that is we could test the kind of veracity of that idea. And we have all the structures in place to create special events that have liquor with nonprofit support. So basically they have to be, basically just sponsored by a nonprofit. So that's why that piece is important. That's how we've done Dynamite Days and 4th of July and all those things in the past. And the boundaries for those areas can be drawn depending on what everyone is comfortable with. So, it's something to discuss for sure. And I think for this year, one of the things it may do is give us a pilot to look at how that might work in the future. So it just seems in the research phase that would be a lot easier low-hanging fruit to grab.
And another thing, I'm sure that Vail is probably just like us. I don't think they have a huge police department, so they're probably going to have sort of security. We do have access to some of the rangers, the mounted rangers, but it's not enough to control 4 blocks of downtown. If we start going this way, and we should potentially, I see it being put together. Maybe we should talk about everybody kind of pitching in a little bit, including the city, to pay for an outside security service that could come in. The safer that we try to make this, the better. I don't want, I'm not really one for the to-go alcohol, because I know they're going to walk out of my restaurant, and what are they doing? They're going to drive up to Keystone. They got a margarita at my place. Of course, I put the little sticker on there and tape it up, and you can't do it. But I'm sure they're not waiting to get to Keystone before they suck on that margarita. So that tells me they're in their cars, and it's not just the driver. Open container in a car is for everybody in the car. So we want to keep a real close eye on that, and make sure we have enough security around that if somebody's trying to go to the parking lot with an open container, that they're stopped and either throw it away in a can or set it on a table and then come back and get it, or whatever. I mean, the other thing about the open container as well is how many people are going to go out to their car with their bottle and their Coke and fill it up. And now they probably do it already, right? But this may open up more of that. And then who's responsible? All of a sudden somebody gets, ornery and starts some trouble, and they want to find out, well, who's been serving this guy and why is he overserved? And everybody says, we go to every business and we had never seen this guy while he's been out in his car. It's just things that we really need to be careful of, the city and the safety of our visitors and, our workers and everybody. So this is a great conversation we'll continue to talk about. And I believe that with this group, we'll be able to come up with some ideas of how to make this work in best interest of the city and our businesses downtown. So, all right, you got 1 minute. Anybody else? All right. As always, thank group for being here and to discuss these things. Sadie, again, great presentation. Looking forward to you presenting to the council in the future. And let's just keep on beating on ideas. And I'm really expecting probably in the next couple of days, but definitely by next meeting, we should have pictures of our prototype for our barrier. And I'd like everybody to kind of weigh in on it and see if there are some simple things we can do, whether we have Lee do it or whether we get together and do it ourselves. you know, the branding of our community, I think is a great idea if we could put something like that on those barriers. But we don't want to clutter them up and make them look too bad. They will have a reflective strip on there. We have to put that on there. So that's probably going to be the ugliest part of it. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we will see you next week, and have a good week.